Hey guys, welcome back to another awesome episode where I have got the Polish national champion Pavel with Kano. Dude, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
How does it feel to be the Polish national champion with, well, I honestly, I was watching that streamed game and I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe Kano has won a nationals. I believe it was technically, it wasn't technically the first because I think another player over in Hong Kong or Singapore or
Philippines.
Philippines, that's it. They won it on the same day, so that's technically right. But still, you're the first person in Europe for sure, or just one of the first to get Kano over the line in their nationals. Dude, that's insane.
It is insane, and it's unreal a little bit
Yeah.
because Polish nationals are stacked. There is plenty of very good players, calling winners, battle hardened winners, and yeah, it's just I played this deck for like 2 years straight
Wow.
with some breaks, but basically this is the deck I felt most comfortable with. And this is what I took because I know I can steal games, and I knew there will be draft. So
Yes.
actually being on Kano isn't that big of a deal because it's not like a calling when you will have to win all your rounds basically in CC.
Mm.
So it was a comfort pick for me. And yeah, I think I'm not the best player in Poland. Let me tell you just that.
Well,
I just won this tournament and I was a little bit lucky. Yeah.
well, dude, that's how it always works, right? Tournaments are you're most likely to fail a tournament than to succeed it, right? So all these players that have won it before you and did very well, you are now amongst the ranks of them. They've all had. That's the point. Everyone who's won a tournament has had a good day. Yeah. you
Yeah,
know.
my
So
friend reminded me that I told him that I'm not gonna to win the nationals. I'm gonna to win nationals with Kano, and it's like a surreal dream to be
oh,
honest. Like I did that. I did that.
you're not joking. Literally, you've rocked the boat from the Fab community. Full stop. Right. It's one of the biggest talking points is that Kano has won a nationals from the Philippines and Poland. Poland is, like you said, is a stacked scene. It's considered one
Let's
of the
not
best.
forget.
And
Yeah, let's not forget Australia.
oh
Kano
yeah,
came second.
yeah, he was in the runner-up as well. So
Yeah,
it's the it's particular countries we just have this high caliber of players. All the countries have got like some, but Poland is notoriously known to have a lot of very good players. And Kano winning the Polish Nats was just like, wow, that's crazy. Anyway,
yeah. Let me just tell you one bit.
oh, go
In
for it, go.
CC, in the regular rounds, I was just 3-3 with Kano.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
It
So it
was
was your
the
draft
finals
that.
that yeah, draft was definitely my stronger side, or at least it gave me the top 8 place.
What was your
But
result
like
in draft?
5-1.
5-1. Okay, cool. So and then your games just snuck you into that top eight. You just
Yeah,
like sneaky
exactly.
Kano.
And then anything could happen. There was a really good Katsu player from my hometown. There was Dromai player from the town when I live now, and we play really frequently. Yeah, there was a lot of variety in our top 8.
Wow. Okay. So what was before we move over to the deck tech? So who did you play in the top eight and
I
semifinals?
uh, in top 8 I played Icelander. I
Oh,
played Bravo, and
oh,
then final with Lexi.
bravo. Jeez, man. How did you go over that stack? Did you just what was it just AB? Did you just not have a lot of AB? What is it just or did you just combo him out? We must have.
I believe he was on Pablo Pintor version, maybe not exactly the same, but definitely inspired by, by,
Yeah.
by that deck because he had AB2. Usually,
Ah,
usually Bravos play AB3. This guy, very good Bravo player, had AB2, and it wasn't an easy game. Despite that,
yeah.
I had to combo out at the last possible moment, and I wasn't sure if I'm killing him. He basically AB2, and double sigil in response to my kill. But it was just enough. He was exactly on 0. And it was the
Oh,
game. I need to figure out the most damage line. I could make a mistake in that game because I had Tom from the top,
yeah.
which I could use to draw card to continue playing and doing my stuff. But basically, I waited it out. I counted the odds. Odds for the red on the top was higher than blues. So I decided to Kano first. I got Wildfire from the top, and I used the home to +2, not to draw the cards, and that was crucial thing.
Oh, wow. It's the fine details, isn't it, when it comes to
Yeah,
Kano?
yeah,
It's the fine
it is.
detail. Should we jump over to the deck tech? Let's talk
Yeah,
about
no
it.
problem.
Let's go. Right. So here it is. Kano. Drakai of Aether, right? So how we're going to go through this, Pavel, is that if someone was new or just wanted to pick up Kano for the first time, we're just going to go through the cards as if we. How does this kind of work? Why do we want to put these sort of cards in, etc., etc.? Because Kano's an extremely complicated deck. He's one of the most complex decks in Flesh and Blood. Would you agree?
I mean, I don't feel that way right now, but it was definitely struggle to learn.
Yeah,
So I think at some point you just learn that, and some things are natural, but still, if you are under the stress of the big tournament, your brain can freeze. So you definitely need the stamina to count those cards and to go through the motions. So yeah, maybe you are right. It's hard. It's hard.
it's not just block. It's not like a fatigue deck or something. Not to knock anyone
No,
doing any fatigue decks, but like when you're playing old and you just go, what do I do? Well, block. You just
no.
block,
Like,
just block properly, and then you
so
go. It's back to you.
what's really hard about it is that you need to have a game plan for each heroes and
Yeah,
execute it perfectly. So this is the huge learning curve because you don't play the same game versus each hero. It may be similar, the elements may be there, but basically you need to know what to do versus anyone. And each hero is different.
absolutely. Okay, so let's crack on through. Let's talk about some of the equipment that you're picking now. Kano, if you've never played or seen Kano before, if you're new, his equipment is pretty much locked in and set. Like most of the time, it doesn't deviate too much, if at all. So he's always using most of the time, unless we'll scroll down and see. Have you? Ah, you did. You did put in the Waning Moon, and you do have some equipment, but most of the time you've got the Crucible of Aetherweave. How come you would normally pick this over Waning Moon?
So Waning Moon is just for Wizard Mirrors at this moment.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to figure out if there is another deck list that is using Waning Moon with one cost spell and play on the opponent's turn, but I couldn't figure it out. So I went to the comfort pick and just using Waning Moon for Wizard Mirrors.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So that's pretty much the only time you would use the Waning Moon. And how come you would use it in a Wizard Mirror?
Can you repeat, please?
How come you would use the Waning Moon only in a Wizard Mirror? What does Waning Moon do in a Wizard Mirror that's more important?
Okay. So it's for me it's super important because I want to play a tempo game. So it basically on my turn it may give me an opponent card additional because it's 2 damage.
Mm-hmm.
So it asks for a card. And on opponent's turn with blazings, it may be 3 damage. So with blazing, it's 6. So it's a good extender
Yeah. No.
in a way. So Waning Moon is like a tempo tool for those matchups where people have plenty of AB, Icelander or Kano,
Yeah.
another Kano, and they just want to pitch and stack you. This is one of the ways to play those heroes, but this is preferred for me. I like those tempo games, and I like to take cards from opponents on my turn, and this is why I play Waning Moon.
In the Wizard Mirrors and stuff. Brill. But everyone else most of the time is Crucible of Aetherweave. You can explain a little bit about the power of this card.
So this card just allows you to put more damage in. That's basically it. If you
Yeah.
got your resources, you can count how many you will use for your spells. Then you know which other spell you can buff with Crucible,
Yeah.
and you know if you had spare resources to do that, and you choose optimally. Probably Ether Flare is best buff target. But if you got blue and a 2-cost spell, it's like a no-brainer. You just do it.
Yeah.
So whenever you can use it, you use it, unless it's a combo turn, because that one resource sometimes is important and is needed elsewhere. So beware.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, Crucible. It's one of those cards that feels like you gotta pick the right target to boost as well, and very specific. Like it's crikey. Every time I'm thinking about like, even going through Kane, I'm like, my brain's just already melting, thinking exactly when do I use the Crucible of Evil Weaver. I take it it's if the card is going to boost damage, you want to boost the card that's boosting damage for following cards,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That's
That's the recipe basically. But
yeah.
sometimes you just need this one resource elsewhere, and it can be tricky. But yeah, you've also got Metacarpus nodes,
Yeah.
and this is your resource sink as well on those turns when you want to go really high and really punch opponent.
Wow. So okay, yeah. So this is again, this is another card. AB1, sure, but yeah, at the time you need to use this. It's that once you've started pumping into Metacarpus nodes, it's gonna die. So this is the term where you go. This has to really count, otherwise, it's just a giant waste. So, is this usually the end game card?
Is Metacarpus only endgame card, you ask?
Yeah, yeah. Is it mostly this is going to close the game out, or put you in a spot for me to win?
So it depends. Like it's usually used at the end to just finish the opponent and get that range to do it.
Mm.
But sometimes you just want to combo off, take huge chunk of damage from the opponent, and then play post combo game. So at that point, Crucible and Metacarpus are really really important because they may go over opponent's AB.
Yeah,
So not every time you use Metacarpus. Sometimes you just don't have resources to execute combo and use Metacarpus. So it all depends. It's all fluctuating. You need to calculate on the fly. You
yeah.
need to
That's
decide.
it. That's it. If the resources just doesn't seem to add up using Metacarpus nodes, from hearing from you, which is actually just something I've just tweeted. I was like, yeah, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Because I was playing lots of Icelander. I've used Metacarpus nodes to just go, well, like you said, you've got AB3. So with Metacarpus and Crucible Wave, I'm going to turn this 5 into a 7. And it's just like, well, that's actually going to do it. So that's really cool. So, but at the same time, everyone, use it when you need, when it counts. Don't just throw it in for any old reason.
Yeah, exactly.
And you got Tunic. Of course, there's a Tunic. Every deck tech I do, there's a Tunic.
But it's a sideboard card. I
It's
know
a
it's listed as the
sideboard
main
card.
board card, but
Oh,
actually, right now, metagame is so fast that Tunic comes in only versus the slowest decks when I know I will be stacking. And this
right.
is like, not always I stack when I use Tunic, but Tunic is for Bravo, for Icelander, and I guess that's it right now.
Anything that's just going to, if you're going to look at that, even with the new Briar, fatigue Briar decks that are just going to have AB3, loads of blues. They're just going to try and waste your turn down, and it's going to be a long game, right?
Yep. Long game, put Tunic in, but everything else is that common, which is
Oh,
way more important.
Spellfire Cloak. Okay, well, since we've got them swapped round, Spellfire Cloak. Explain, why is this the main board card? This is awesome. Real cheap common.
So it's a main board card because it allows you to get the resource on your first two turns. I
Right.
mean, it was on the opponent's turn, but it doesn't matter really. You don't need to wait 3 turns to have Tunic loaded fully.
Yeah.
You can just execute something way earlier. And sometimes you're just one resource short and you cannot do a lot of damage, and this is the thing that helps you a lot.
Oh, fantastic. It's just,
Those-
it's instant, it's available immediately, and it's free. That's the most important
yeah,
thing.
yeah. It's
Oh,
free. It's on opponent's turn. It only works on opponent's turn, but it's enough to do and execute something. Because I didn't mention that, but for Kano beginners, it will be super super important.
yeah.
Kano plays on your turn. Play on your turn, like 95% of the time.
What, on your own turn?
Yep, it's not a deck that wants to like Kano, Kano, Kano all the time. Just in those spots when it brings you value. And
Right.
this is the most important tip I can give to anyone. Don't focus on Kanoing, on using the hero ability. Focus on executing your game plan and make the most damage on your turn because it's more effective. It's more effective that way, and then kill on opponent's turn.
Okay.
Like
Okay. That's
AB doesn't count. What counts is the cards in opponent's hand. If he don't have them, he's helpless. So take their cards on your turn and then kill them on their turn.
okay. That's good. That's really handy because I remember when I first started playing Kano, and you just kind of feel like you've got to use the instant, right? You know, if you're not doing it, you know, you're not doing it right, and then it's really, and a lot of people then just, like you said, they fall over because they're going, well, how am I meant to block and do this at the same time? And your tip is, don't worry. Don't worry, it's fine to just, you can block up a little bit of damage and then making sure you're just pinging back on their turn. It's you this is available at any time. Use it when it
Yeah,
counts, bro.
it is, and your kill range is huge, so you don't need to like give a lot of damage on your turn. As long as you are softening your opponent, take cards from their hands,
Yeah.
you're fine. You're fine.
All right, awesome. Okay, so Spring Tunic is not in the main board. We've got the Spellfire Cloak in the. You spot those two round basically, but that's really cool. Actually, it's really good so far. So good with the price of the cards, right, for a new player to pick up. I do know that the last one is a legendary, and let's just. I'll tell you what. We'll go with Ragamuffin's hat, and we'll talk about Storm Striders. Ragamuffin's hat. Now, Kano doesn't. You know, when I saw this, I was like, "This okay, sure. It's just a common draft card for Tales of Aria, right? You know, seems pretty cool in draft." And then all of a sudden, the Kano was like, "Oh my god, this thing is crazy!" Explain about it.
It's like an insurance.
Yeah.
It's you just swap your red from hand for a blue, so you get resources. And also it allows you, in certain cases, to put Blazing Ether from hand on top and drew a blue to actually play it. So it allows you to be more flexible. To, for example, it's in a way it's another boots, but it's harder to use that way because you to actually run it, not run it, to execute it, you need to have one card in hand. But main use is you have a blazing in hand, you have a blue on top, you swap them, you play it. That's it.
That's it's crazy, isn't it? Like, because don't you just sort of pitch Kano, look at the top card, it's blue. So the way this works is because it's an instant, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, but you Kano, you look at the top card, it's a blue, right? But before the Kano resolves, you can then do the Ragamuffin's hat. Is that right? To then
It's not right because you never know what's on top.
you don't know.
Once you know it, you lost three resources, and you need to use that card on
Right. Okay. Yeah.
straight away.
So how do you know what you're swapping? Or do you just draw a card and go, oh, what? Like, sometimes do you use it and it's just not the card you need, or?
That happens a lot. That happens a lot, and this is part of the equation. You need to actually count what would happen if there is a red on top. What would happen if there is a blue on top? Do I risk it now? How does opponent have a red or blue or yellow card in hand? And this is all you need to calculate
So,
to actually
what?
execute it well.
I take it if you had Gaze of the Ages, for example, like you've played Gaze of the Ages, you can just look at the top two cards of your deck and opt it, and then that's when you go, all right, cool, I know there's a blue here, and I've got a red in hand. I'll just Ragamuffin's hat after that to to
Yeah,
swap it
and you
out.
can Ragamuffin to have a blue instead of red. So first it gives you resources, but you can also put those red on the bottom if it's, for example, two cost and you can't play it.
Yeah.
So there are those little tricks that you can do with that card,
Oh my
and
god.
there is I got one trick that will blow your mind.
Yeah.
You have Tome of Etherwind banished.
Yeah.
You have one card in hand.
Yeah.
You activate Ragamuffin's hat.
Yeah.
In response, you play Tome of the Etherwind. You drew two cards. and from those three you choose what to put on top or bottom. So this is something I learned recently, and it came handy.
It's understanding Kano is understanding the pitch stack. Once you understand the pitch stack and you're a master of that, that's when Kano gets to weave that pitch stack in very fun, creative ways, which is really cool. But that's Ragamuffin's hat. I thought I'd understand it a bit more. I slightly have. I still think this card is still mind blowing in terms of its potential and its possibilities and what this can offer. It's still, yeah, I never thought a common card from Tales of Aria would be able to unlock such madness.
Yeah, it is really, really, but it's really good, really potent.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we'll talk about probably the most important card. The whole reason, in my opinion, Kano works very, very well, and that's Stormstriders. Okay, it's safe to say,
It's enabler.
yeah,
You cannot do a lot on your opponent's turn. You cannot sequence your combo without this card.
yeah,
So basically, you use it on your kill turn or on turn when you try to combo out and then play post combo game. But yeah, without that card, playing Kano, I'm not sure if it's possible.
yeah. I was going to ask is like if you're going to pick up Kano and want to take this competitively, would you say that this is a must buy?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
This Tunic, not so much. This one, 100%.
Yeah, no, 100%. All right, there you go, everyone. And the reason why is that once you break that resource, you can play the next wizard non-attack action card. It's always an instant, right? So that, you know, cheeky little blazing aether that's sitting in Arsenal, or most likely it will be the
Wildfire.
yeah, the aether
Or
wildfire.
lesson or anything, basically. Anything. Any combo piece.
Yeah, that you need that card to make sure that you can be able to play it out on the opponent's turn. There you go. That's the main board equipment. I'll follow up with the Alluvian Castellus. I take it this card is for the Wizard Mirror.
Yep, for Islander, and I'm not sure if I played it versus Vincent. I think I did. Yeah. It may be also for Vincent.
Because of the amount of rune chance.
Yeah, there's huge amount of rune chance, so it will load. But I also played Waning Boar for Vincent in round 1, actually.
Wow.
So I think, yeah, I think.
What about Viscerai?
Like I don't like using Constellas with Crucible. Crucible is just one resource, and I think I value more the resource equipment, not the Constellas, because I may use it for anything basically.
Sure.
So versus Viscerai and I'm not sure honestly. Like there was not a lot of Viscerais.
No.
But basically, when I play Crucible, I probably won't play the Constellas, even if it fits in that particular game.
Yeah,
but it's fluid. It's fluid. This deck you can like do a lot, and it may be the same cards, but everyone plays them differently. So at some point, maybe I'll change my mind and do it the other way around, and maybe it will bring results. So who knows?
Oh yeah, that's the like you said, that's the joy of the deck. Okay, so that is your equipment. Let's go through your deck parts. I'm gonna say, I think probably maybe one of the easiest things, because I'll be honest, I'm a bit of a noob when it comes to Kano, right? But I'm going to come at this like a new player, okay? So these are the cards that are going to jump out to me. There's like a core building block, and I'm going to start off with the reds, okay? This is like the damage. This is the stuff that's actually going to effectively help me win the game, right? And then the blues are all of the resource cards that enables me to play that out. That's my thinking. Is that about right?
Yep, basically right.
Okay, so let's
blues are the utility spells usually, and there is a super important part is that blues that cost 0 and deal 1 damage are super crucial on the combo turn. So in a way they are also damage card, but most of the time they are just blues to block with or blues to Kano with.
Yeah.
or to
Okay.
pay for something. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Right, so let's start off with we're going to start from the top here. A for flair. Okay, so deal free. This card, the card that won you the tournament. We're all sitting there
Yeah.
thinking you got a blazing Aether Fire or blazing wildfire in the arsenal, right? Or Aether Wildfire, sorry, in the arsenal. Thinking, oh, that's it. And then when an Aether Flare showed up, I was like, oh, is he going to do it? Is this enough?
Yeah, it was that game was like my opponent played after playing, I believe, 2 arrows. He
Yeah.
played Winter's Grasp, yellow, and he basically asked me for a card. And I wasn't keen to give him a card really. If I discard a card at that point in time, I would be playing to not lose, not necessarily to win. So I figured this is the spot. This is my window basically.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if you had a blue in hand or yellow. I probably need to give the most damage possible in that particular moment. And I started Kanoing on opponent's turn. Deck was very nice to me. He gave me the Blazing Ether. I believe I opted a little bit also with Gaze and stuff like that. So it was Blazing and Gaze. Then I played Blazing, kept priority for myself so I could do things in response. I found another Blazing with use of Gaze. And then I played the second Gaze, and it was like, okay, that's it. I need to figure something out. And indeed, Ether Flare was in Arsenal.
Was it a blue or a red?
The red one, red one. But at that point in time, my brain freeze. I thought I'm calculating, but it was like probably everyone around knows already what is going on, but me.
Oh
And
no,
yeah,
none of us know what's going on. We're all sitting there thinking, this guy, he's got it. He's mapping this so hard, and you're like, I don't know what's going on.
okay, so story time. I was mapping it so hard because I thought I still got my Ragamuffins, and I saw Lesson in Lava on top. So I was calculating lines with use of those 2 cards. But turned out, and I'm glad I checked that, there is no Ragamuffin on the table at that point. So half of the time, or even more, was like wasted because of
Oh,
that.
right. You're like, yeah, you were calculating stuff of which you didn't have, and then when you twigged you didn't have, you went, oh, right. I guess I can't do that then.
Yeah, but basically it was blazing,
Yeah.
and then I played Ether Flare with use of Striders.
Yeah.
And after it resolved, I played Snapback, which was buffed by Ether Flare,
Yeah.
and then Double Blazing. And it was buffed by Metacarpus and all stuff, and it was enough to kill, which at that point I didn't know because I miscalculated too. Like I was so stressed in that final. It was like I was focusing, give the most damage possible, don't miss any resources.
Oh my
And,
god.
and, and I was fine with playing the post combo game because this was my intention when I was trying to do something that turn. But turned out the damage was big enough to actually win.
Okay, so there's a term you've been using from the combo turn and post combo turn, right? What I think is probably really cool is just we were talking about some of the reds here. Let's talk. What is the combo turn, right? The combo.
Oh.
What does that mean? Because if no one knows what that means, what cards are making this the combo turn?
So basic combo in this deck is either Wildfire into Lesson in Lava, which search for your Blazing Ether at the end to like double the damage dealt this turn.
Okay.
So if you got in your hand Wildfire and Blazing Ether, or in Arsenal whenever, you can skip the lesson because the tutor is not important. But basically, Wildfire into anything into Blazing Ether. It's like a benchmark combo.
Okay.
But then you can go everywhere in between because you might play Wildfire into Flare, which is awesome amplifier into Blazing Ether. Or you can do whole lot of strange sequences that give the same results.
Okay. So
Fire for a lot of damage.
So it's
Wildfire, Lesson, Blazing. This is the basic one.
These two here. Okay, cool. So these two is what's making the combo. Everything else is just, go for it. That's really cool. And now when you say post combo, is that basically you are now trying to close the game out? You've done your big turn with the Storm Striders. It's all been popped off now. Their health is low, and it's just now trying to Like just close
Try
the
to
game out.
go over a B, basically. Yeah. So when I do the combo turn, I try to kill my opponent, obviously, but sometimes it doesn't pan out that way, and there is like if I bring him to single digits, I'm comfortable enough to just continue playing and hopefully hopefully win the game.
Okay, cool. So that's what the combo term means. All right. So we'll go back through with these reds. So the Aether Flare is another thing that boosts damage, and then you've also got the Aether Quickening, which is 1 for, again, it's just damage, isn't it? 1 for 4. Pretty
Yeah,
simple.
it's damage in 1 for 4, but I'm playing the 2 copies because Lesson in Lava. Usually, when you lesson, you can search for something
Yeah.
and Kano and play it too. So less. I don't like to do lesson in lesson when opponent have plenty of cards and have AB ready and cards to spare, because it weakens my combo potential later on. So I like keeping my lessons in lava in deck, and this is why when I got a lesson and I play it at the beginning of the game, I like to search for something that is 1 cost, so I can execute it from the 3 cards, and
Yeah.
something that has damage potential, and this is Ether Quickening.
Okay, cool, cool. Do you ever pull off the Surge?
Uh,
The,
Excuse me?
do you ever pull off the Surge? The text on the bottom.
Uh, oh, search. No,
I like
no.
it how you're like, what
It
is that?
sometimes happen. It sometimes happen when it lines up with you having the energy potion or something. It's glorious, but like no,
No,
it doesn't happen a lot.
no, fair enough. Okay, so we'll move on. I tell you what, we've been talking about Lesson in Lava, Aether Wildfire, and Blazing Aether quite a lot. So I'm going to move to Lesson in Lava because every time we're talking about something, you're going to say, "Oh yeah," and then Lesson in Lava will help with this. This card gets brought up quite a lot. Let's talk about it. So it deals 3 arcane damage to opposing hero, and if it hits, it's basically a tutor card, right?
Yep, it's a tutor for your most precious pieces that you need at that point. So when I'm doing just regular damage at the beginning of the game, I want Ether Quickening. When I'm doing the combo turn, I want Blazing Ether. When I'm doing a turn, when I got like a lot of blues, I'm probably looking for Sonic Boom or something to follow up with more damage. But yeah, this is the tutor, and I would say this and Blazing Ether are most important cards in the whole deck.
Oh wow, not what about Aether Wildfire? Is that
It is important, of course it is, but I'm glad that the final game that everyone saw that it's interested in Kano, like there wasn't Whitefire at all. So it's not needed. Yeah, it's needed. It's hard. Like you
it's
can do a lot.
yeah.
You can do a lot without it, but it's obviously a crucial part. But if you got just Whitefire without Blazing Either, it,
Yeah.
those 3 cards are probably like the most important.
Okay.
But for me, the Kano specs,
Yeah, the Kano specializations are the key.
yeah,
Yeah, and Blazing Aether we'll just quickly brush over this as well. So this card, it's if you're going to lose to Kano, you've lost because of Blazing Aether. Basically, that's 9 times out of 10 what happens. It deals arcane. It deals arcane to the amount of arcane you've taken throughout that turn.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and it can
So it
be
doubles the
quite a
damage
lot.
I did already.
And then if you had 2, it doubles.
It scales nicely. Yeah,
It goes into the most insane territories ever. So that's what this card does. It's the combo ender. It's insane. It's literally insane. I remember when I first started playing this game, I'm looking at this going, it's all right. I mean, what does it do really? What, 4? Like, oh, I'll do 4, then I'll do this again. It's like, oh, it's not that good. My brain
oh,
didn't even comprehend the insanity this card can get into when I first started playing Flesh and Blood. But yeah,
it's
there you
like
go.
15, 20. It depends, but
Yeah,
yeah, it's the this is why it's a crucial card. Obviously, let's put it in another words. Wildfire is super crucial, but Wildfire is a starter,
Blazing Aether
but
was the
you
ender.
need to finish it. So
Yeah,
so so this is why Blazing like is super important.
absolutely. Okay, so we've went through these things as well. And Aether Wildfire, again, we'll just talk about this because this card is going to be brought up a hell of a lot as well. So it deals 4 arcane damage if it's played on the opponent's turn, the amount of damage you do is the amount of damage that is added to every arcane damage turn until the end of the turn. Is that?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's correct. That's
It's
correct.
insane in terms of how much damage it's doing. Like in terms of Aether Flare, it boosts the next one that you're doing by the amount of damage you're doing. This one just keeps that and applies it to everything. It's
But only on opponent's turn.
only on the
And
opponent's turn.
so yeah, this is why you never want to like be empty-handed when playing Kano,
No.
to actually be able to pitch to AB, because yeah, this is a crucial realization, I believe, that players want to go fast versus Kano, and that's correct, but they are sometimes want to go too fast, are too greedy, and that one resource at the end, one card at the end, is like super important. When I see opponent empty-handed, I just know I've got my equations for that, and I just know instantly if I kill them or not.
Oh my
But if there's at
days.
least one card,
Mm,
it complicates things a lot.
yeah. Okay. That's good. That's a good tip for everyone playing against Kano. But yeah, those are the three big cards. Let's get back on with some of the other stuff. Right. A for Spindle. Deal 4 arcane, cost 2, and you opt for the amount that you've done. How important is this card really important?
Super important because it's like a must block for almost anyone. No one wants to give me like opt 5. And basically, I know it written it deals 4 damage, but it's 2 coster, so basically from a blue it always goes for 5. So
Because,
from 2 cards,
yeah.
I want to give 5 damage, and then I opt and dig for my combo pieces.
Yeah.
So this card is like the most efficient card for taking cards from my opponent.
Yeah.
And if they just say no blocks, I'm also happy because it's like Christmas.
Oh
I can
yeah.
opt 5, and sometimes it's like I put 5 cards back on top. So it's, you know what will happen.
It can also, in a way, just not be. It's not draw 5 cards, but in Kano's land, it kind of is like draw 5 cards because you could just look at this and go, okay, I don't need that. Like, you could just put cards down to the bottom, and that's making sure that you're getting your combo pieces just closer to the top as well. You know.
That's one thing. Second thing is you are digging, you are pitch stacking, and you are basically preparing for what your opponents have
Oh
can do to you. So it's a package. This card is a power horse. It never leave. It's never leaving a deck.
no, and never say no box or never say nothing to this. You got to deal with it. All right, you got Snapback, good old classic card. So deal 3 arcane damage, and if you've played a wizard non-attack action card this turn, it's an instant. So this card must be wonderful to have in your hand.
Yeah, it's always nice. Like, I know some Kanos are cutting it. I know some Kanos are playing different stuff, but this card is so versatile. You can play it on your turn
Mm,
to take cards from your opponent or deal damage. You can play it on your opponent's turn. It's really helpful on the combo turn because you don't need to Kano really. You can just play it from your hand. And this is hard. Like the hardest thing at the beginning was that everyone thinks that Kano just plays everything as instant, but then you take the deck to your hand, you start playing, and it's like, no, I can't do nothing. It's really, really hard at the beginning to realize. But snapback just gives you outs, gives you flexibility. It's super card in Arsenal because it can leave the Arsenal really quickly when you need it empty for some more important piece. Like, I really like the cards.
yeah, no, it's really cool, and it won you the tournament.
Yeah, it won. Yeah, obviously.
It did. It won. If it wasn't for Snapback, it probably would have been a bit of a tricky situation because if you'd need to have another blue card to Kano again, and then find another resource to find out where's you just had the one resource, and you just there you go. It's almost as if it's perfect. So yeah,
And it's an awesome combo piece. Like usually when you play a flare, red one
yeah,
from blue, and you pump it with Crucible, and you have a one hand and empty arsenal, it's like a good mind game, right?
yeah,
If they block, I just put my card in arsenal. They even doesn't know what's that. But if they allow it to hit, then my snapback is for 7, so it's like a good trade.
Oh my
Yeah,
days.
also it's awesome with chain lighting because it's like turns it on.
Yeah, we'll talk. We'll get to chain lightning, crikey, in a minute. Right. It's so many. Every time. This is one thing we're going to notice, everyone. So when we're going through one card, sometimes that card needs context from another card to make the context of why you would put this in. And there's so many little pieces that just talk to each other, which is this has probably been my hardest. Like, this is one of the hardest decks to play. It's one of the hardest deck decks to try and talk through, to try and make sense of it all, because you're like, oh yeah, that, and then there's this, and then you need that. Anyway, so Tome of the A for Win, pretty simple card. Draw 2, or in your case, sometimes pump damage.
Yeah, in my case, sometimes pump by 2 or pump by 1 and draw 1. It's most of the times it's draw 2 cards,
Yeah.
continue your turn. Sometimes you just block with 3 cards, then play Tom, then you can do something more. But in my case, Pump 2 was super crucial in semifinal versus Bravo, where I could pump my wildfire up to 8,
Oh,
and I killed him I killed him through AB2 and double sigil,
wow.
and it was exactly 0. I wasn't sure if I'm doing that honestly during play, but yeah, that was it. Like when you start playing, it's most of the time +2,
Yeah.
+2 cards.
Yeah.
But then there are spots when this buff is super crucial, and look out for that because it's awesome card. Like
It's
it never leaves the deck for me.
no, and I remember having a little dabble with Kano, and then when you flip that Tome of Aetherwind from a Kano turn, oh god, it feels good.
You rush.
It feels good. But sometimes though, if you ever, I don't know, like you because you draw 2, do you ever get those times where you just drew 2 reds and you're like, yeah, no, not this. If it was 2 blues, you feel like a god. Yeah.
That's true. That's
Yeah,
true.
all right. Okay. So that's Tome of the A for Win. All right. We talked about lessons in lava, and we got a heap of blues. So I'm gonna probably. I tell you what. Let's just stick with it. Let's just keep with the main board stuff for now. When it comes to a lot of the blues, is there a lot of intricate, fine detail as to why you've picked these particular blues? Because there's quite a lot, and a lot of them do, very similar
Similar
things, right?
thing, yeah. So basically, zero costers are there because they are zero costers and deal 1 damage. So it's super important on combo turn when I can just flip the card, and with Wildfire,
Yeah.
it's not 1 anymore. It's 5 or 6 or whatever.
Yeah.
Singe is there because of Dromai.
Yeah.
I know I can win a match with versus Dromai, but I also need my tools to do it. So it's the worst blue in this deck, but it's super important because Dromai is out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if I had to cut 1 card, just cut Singe and replace with your favorite other blue if there is no Dromai in your metal. But I think it's obvious, but I said it. It's
Yeah.
the worst blue in the deck, basically.
Yeah. No worries. And then you got a couple of wands I've noticed here. So oh yeah, and Zap is another 0 cost as well. So Singe is a 1 cost. We've also got Reverberate. Is there a reason why? Is it what you picked this one? Is it because you don't have a 0?
In a way, yeah, but Reverberate actually is super helpful because it may allow me to play yet another Blazing
No.
on the combo turn when I don't have resources. Because if it hits, it
Yeah.
makes me play card as an instant.
Yes, that's true, and it's very very unassuming 1 damage.
Yeah, and the same like Blue Flare is also awesome on combo turn because it will amplify damage that it gives, but it's usually buffed by Wildfire. So I really like Red Flare at any point in time, and Blue Flare on combo turn is one of the best 1 cost blues that you can get.
Okay.
So basically those 2 flares and reverberates are there because of the utility on the combo turn.
Yeah.
And then we are left with Elder Quickening.
Yeah. So yeah, Aether Quickening. Yeah.
if there was a zero cost blue, I would probably play it
Hmm.
instead of Ether Quickening, because the search text never happens really.
Yeah.
The 1 for 2 is okay, but but I prefer to buff this first spell I play at that turn.
Yeah.
And this one here, the one cost here, maybe sometimes
Bit problematic.
a problem, yeah,
Yeah.
problematic. So this together with Singe is not something I like. Maybe I will play Voltic Bolts in that spot in that spot because it's also good on your turn
Hmm.
because it's to coster, but it deals way more damage
Yeah.
with Crucible. So
But
so I would say experiment. Like Kano is all about experimentations.
yeah, no,
And yeah,
absolutely, absolutely. I will just go through probably the most complex and coolest blue that you've got. Gaze of Ages, right? Opt to, if you've played another wizard non-attack action card this turn, put Gaze of Ages into your hand as it resolves. Crazy card, right?
it's super important, and every Kano deck have to play those cards.
Yeah,
Like Gaze is the best blue that we have access to because Eye of someone could say Eye of Ophidia is better, but actually Gaze blocks. So this sometimes is super important. But like
absolutely.
Gaze is this is the card.
Wow. So is that second piece of text? You just walk through just a little bit of and just explain if I'm right. So if I Kano'd and played, if I've already played a wizard non-attack from a Kano, right? I've already played that, and then I Kano again, and I've got Gaze of the Ages. I then instant in Gaze of the Ages and opt. Is there a way this can get back into my hand to then pitch it again?
Yeah,
Sure.
exactly.
Yeah.
This is the way.
All right. Okay. That's exactly how it works. Cool. I
This
got
is
it.
exactly how we describe it. And on top of that, what you can do is that sometimes it comes handy that you play your first spell, don't resolve it, and play Gaze the Ages in response.
Right.
So you got exactly the same effect. You opt and you take it to hand, but you still has this spell on stack. So it's not wasted in a way
Yeah.
because it's crucial. If it, yeah, imagine blazing. Blazing for 0, it does nothing. But
Right.
then blazing with gaze, you set up the top of the deck, play the top of the deck, and play that spell. That blazing won't be for 0 anymore.
Oh,
It will
wow.
get buffed.
Okay, cool. Yeah, this card's cracked, everyone. I mean, I always knew it was really good, but I never paid too much attention as to what the hell's kind of going on. But now that I've just realized, oh yeah, so if I play that
It's
and
like
then opt
ultimate
and then
stacking piece also.
it's a card that literally is so strong that you could. I feel like I've just my mind has just opened up. You could play it, look at the two cards, put it back in your hand, and then play what you've just opt.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow. Okay, cool. That's why it's called the
And then,
Gaze of Ages.
so Gaze of the Ages is also important in pitch stacking matchups
Yeah,
because it basically gets the card that are getting in your way. Like you
yeah,
want your sequence, but you won't pitch stack perfectly because you are not you don't know what you will draw on your turns. So when you pitch Gaze, you know you can be a little bit like not that super. Uh, I'm not sure the English word for that, but basically it's like a buffer card.
right,
It will
sure.
opt two rubbish cards to the bottom and continue your turn
Yeah, it's a filter.
when you pitch stack.
Yeah, just filters the garbage cards out of the way so that you can just be able to. Yeah, that's really cool. Really cool. All right, and then you've got free energy potions. Pretty much, says it really, doesn't it? You
It's a
need resources.
staple. Like you need it to be for your turns to be bigger, and
Mm,
it's one of the best cards in deck. I'm always happy to slam potion on the table and move on with my turn
yeah, yeah,
because it will pay the dividends later on.
yeah. No, absolutely. And then the potion of deja vu. Ooh, this card. So you destroy it, put all cards from your pitch zone on top of your deck in any order. Okay.
So there is a lot you can do with this card. It's hard to even try to explain it, but basically you can over pitch with Tome for example,
Yeah.
then put those cards on top,
Yeah.
and you will draw them back, and you will have the resource that is spare. You can you can do really a lot. Like there is plenty of little interactions with that, and it's also like a Storm Striders, additional Storm Striders, because you can pitch to Kano with 2 cards, for example,
Right.
and then put them on top with potion and play something that you Kano'd right away.
Yeah.
So in a way, it's another Storm Striders. In a way, it's a card that allows you to draw blues when you need them.
Well, it's yeah. It's a bit of a mind melter from
It is.
for
It is.
potential. Like sometimes you can just you draw a card in your hand, and you can just sort of see the line of going, well, if I pick these cards that I'm pitching are actually cards I'm putting on top of my deck. So if I think of it that way, this is really good. But the potential of what this card can do is
Yeah. Also,
like there's so many cases of endless examples of what this card can really do. But yeah, just think.
one important thing is that you can put your cards that you want to play, but also you put the blue on top. So then you have Ragamuffin that you can take those blue from top to put the red on the bottom or on top. Like it's a fixer for everything. Like it's the most versatile card. I'm not sure if I wasn't naming if other cards didn't get this more versatile title during this talk.
But it doesn't. I can just tell by just having it, your your mind just opens up to different sort of potentials you can. Yeah, the list of examples of what this card can do is pretty endless, right? Pretty
It
endless.
can do a lot. It's an enabler, opener. It's everything.
It's everything.
You don't want it in your hand when you need to block, but
No,
then once it's on the table, it helps a lot to find the proper lines.
that's awesome. And now the Eye of Ophidia. Okay, we know this card is a classic Kano card. It's just doing exactly as you can tell from going through all this deck. It's a blue, you pitch, and Kano likes to opt. You know, he likes to sort that deck out. This card does it all, right? Now, do you need it?
You don't.
Oh, that's good. I hear that
But
but
but if it's there, it may win you games that won't be winnable otherwise.
sure. Are they
Like
are they quite is it kind of like is it like a 1 or 2% tunes your deck, like, or is
I
it?
don't know how to calculate it, to be honest.
Yeah.
But for Kanos that know what they are doing, it may be the card that will push them into that winning territory rather than, oh, another game, let's move on.
But it could also lose you the game.
Yeah. Sorry.
It
Yeah,
could
it can
also,
lose me a game.
yeah, because you just flip that and that's that. Yeah.
On Armories, it happens a few times. But let me tell you a story from the quarterfinal
Go.
where I pitched Eye of Ophidia, saw the Tom on the top, not as the first card, as another card. I opted and put the Tom into the banish zone. Then I did another Kano. I found some good card over there.
Yeah.
Then I used Potion of Deja Vu to have my eye on the top to draw it from the Tom of Etherwind and Kano again. So it gave me a lot of reach. Like it was opt 3, opt 4 basically.
Oh my god.
In that particular game with combination of potion with that other awesome card that I have here.
Oh my god. Oh, my brain that's awesome. It's so cool. And I'm sitting here thinking Become the Art Knight with Viscerai opens up my world of like, oh, what are the potentials? It's like, bro, you're like, discard a card, draw a card, done. Easy. Kano on the other hand. All these things can come out from all it's so cool. It's really cool. But it's also good to hear as well as if someone wanted to pick this up for the first time and they're going to look at this and go, oh, what? They got this Fabled in there. That's like easy, a couple of £100 for this extremely rare card. Do I need this card? The answer is
No, you don't.
no, you don't.
You don't need it. Go play the deck. I know plenty of very, very good Kano players that don't have this card and play without it. And you may just swap it for any blue that you like. If you don't need to block, if you like the doing the wacky things, I think that's the word, right? I didn't swear right now.
No, you
Wacky
didn't.
things.
No.
Okay,
No,
that's
you're
good.
good.
That's good. I heard it from time to time, and I just use this word.
All right.
So basically, you may put another potion of deja vu. It's the most frequent advice I believe that is given out there. So
Yeah.
play with 2 potions of deja vu because this is a super strong enabler, and I is an enabler of sorts also.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, you may play if you know you will be blocking a lot. Just put any other blue; it will be fine.
Cool. Right, that's your main board, and then we'll go through the sideboard, and then like the gaze. I feel like the gaze of ages guy at the minute. I'm like, whoa, this deck tech will be wrapped up. So, sideboard, Aether Dart, red. What's this for?
So let me maybe
Oh,
suggest different route. Okay.
Okay, go. You tell me.
I got
Teach
my
me.
packages in sideboard. I've got my packages.
Yeah.
And basically, the algorithm is like that. When you play Dromai, put in Ether Darts, put in Singe, put in Nourishing Emptiness, take the card you don't like from the deck. You play Clean 60, and you are prepared for facing Dromai, right?
So when you say take cards you don't like from the deck, what are cards that you just don't like from the deck? Is it like Aether Quickening, for example, or what?
It depends on the mood, to be honest. Like I may take some blue because I feel lucky, or I may take some red.
Oh, okay, but you've got, so if you're going to play up against Dromai, you've got 55 cards in your main deck. You're going to put in 6 cards and just take one card.
Yeah.
That whatever one card you just think meh, whatever. Okay, cool. Right,
Yeah,
so that's
exactly that. So this is the first sideboard tip. The other one is you need to ask a question. Do you want to high roll or will you be stacking?
I want a high roll.
So if you want a high roll, take Chain Lightning, take Sonic Booms, and put in Swell Tidings or Ether Dart. That last 5th card, it's basically you ask the question if you will be able to play Swell Tidings for 2 or with Crucible for 3. So will you have in that matchups a lot of 2-card hands on your turn? Like you may block with it as well, and it's a super min-maxing in the end. But basically sometimes you just want play 0 for 3 and move on, and it will practically never happen, to be honest.
Yeah.
But this is basically what you want to ask yourself.
Yeah.
Because if Swell Tidings, which is a 2-coster, will be not fun to have, because you will need to block a lot, and this 2-cost will be an obstacle. Then you just want the cheaper spell, and that's it.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So, I don't want to pitch stack, and I don't want to high roll. I want to pitch stack. What would I put in then?
So in that case, you put it 3 Tome of Yendals and 2 Swell Tidings, and that's it.
3 Tome of Yendals and the 2 Swell Tidings. Okay, Swell Tidings seems to be included in quite a bit. What is it about this card that's coming into both high roll and pitch stacking?
So it rather comes versus Bravo. Like Bravo, I guess, is an exception because you don't necessarily want to pitch stack. You are looking for your windows, but also don't put in the aggro package because healing from Arsenal is super nice, and having tall spells like Swell Tidings is also super nice. But Swell is just a huge spell, and that's it. It's like from 2 cards you put in 6 damage, and hopefully they don't want to give you Ponder, so they will pitch a card, and yeah,
fair enough.
You just need in your deck some damage cards, and that's the one in that particular game.
Okay, and Tome of Findel in a pitch stacking thing. Why are we going with the tome? Is it for the healing, or is it for just getting the card draw? What is it? or both?
Healing is important both versus Icelander and Bravo, but also it's super nice when you can pitch it in your first cycle,
Hmm.
but then you know exactly when those tombs are, and you just steamroll by
Got you.
into Kano and then drawing your blues, and then you know where when the reds are, then you use gazes to do stuff in between, and it just gives you more resources basically later on when
But
you pitch them and you have them stacked.
you say
So
you
so
know
so
where they
Tom is
are.
very versatile in that matchups, but for me it's too slow when you need to high roll. If you've got 2-3 turns because you are playing Lexi
Yeah.
and the game is super fast, there will be absolutely no space unless you drew it first turn
Yeah.
to
No.
put it in the arsenal. But other than that, you won't be able to do it. This is why I don't want to play it, because random Tom from the top, it's pretty much EV0, like expected value 0.
Yeah.
So it may draw, if it draw two blues, it's awesome, but then it may draw reds or something in between, and you need to spend one resource
To
for
play
that.
it.
So basically, you got it in your deck or you do not. It's the same. So when you optimize for the deck, it's cuttable
Yeah.
definitely.
So I like it when you're saying when you pitch deck, you're like, oh, I know exactly where all my cards are. I'm like, bro, like I think that's a very scary thing. A lot of people will look at this and go, so do I need to remember the order of everything from pitching to play this deck, or is it not as scary as that sounds?
It's not as scary. I think there are phases when you learn the deck, and my tip would be to just sometimes you will be shuffling your deck with Lesson in Lava,
Mm-hmm.
so the pitch stack is not important there. In very fast games, it's obviously not important, but what's important is to keep the threat density in the deck. So first
Yes.
turn, just pitch those Blazing Adders or something, so they are staying in the deck and make them handy later on. And like pitch stacking is the last step to learn with this deck. It's super rewarding when you win with pitch stacking and you know exactly what's there. It's like just feel good. This is super addicting with Kano. Like
Yeah.
those combos which are not obvious, and those turns that you just execute out of nowhere, and then this feeling that you knew exactly
Oh,
what waits for your opponent, and you were able to get there and execute it, and you are winning out of nowhere. So anyway, this is the last part of learning the deck. Don't be discouraged. It's hard.
yeah.
It's hard for me on the tournament. If it's long, it's way harder, but like 80% of the time it's not super needed.
Yeah, yeah. It's for these clutch matches. Most of the time, you're just
Mhm.
slinging spells and exploding them before they before they have a chance, right?
Yeah, that's one thing, and the other one is that you don't need to really remember the everything. But like for starters, remembering that you need threat density is enough, and then when you start to remember what you are pitching and why, like knowing like 10, maybe 12, 15 cards is enough. You don't need to know it everything. You just need to figure out what combo is there for a kill and get there.
Right.
So getting there is way harder to know when your pitch stack starts. This is what's giving me problems, to be honest.
Got ya.
Like I'm using some techniques like marking, not marking cards like cheating, but marking cards like I'm pitching the sequence, and I remember when I get to two prognosticates, this is when
Oh, right.
my
So
stack
yes,
starts.
you just go. If I've got to remember these two like cards as a bookmark in my head with this
Bookmark, yeah,
card.
that's the
Yeah,
one.
I
That's the one.
bookmark
Yeah.
these like it's just I use the artwork as the bookmark to remember what's going on. Just remember that it like that. Okay, cool. That's everyone's got their own way, but that's one way of doing it. I will just we've got one more card to end off, and then we'll kind of just summarize that from here. Scour. When do you put in the scour in?
So as you saw, my algorithm for sideboarding is pretty easy, and I always want to play 60 cards.
Yeah,
No more, no less. This is the combo deck, and I really won't be as I want to get to my combo pieces as quickly as possible, so
Yeah.
I don't want to put other cards.
Yeah.
And I still got 2 slots left after putting this all together, and those are really the flex slots. I put the Scour in because I knew there will be some win sets,
Yeah.
and Scour may be handy versus Rune Chance.
Oh,
Maybe some
yeah.
Roach Viserai it will be there, and my friend from my city was testing Prism, and I knew he will be on Prism. So Scour always helped me with Spectral Shields. And
That,
this is basically why I put it there and take out Blue Singes, put in the Scour, and that's it.
yeah.
But to be honest, experiment. I had in those slots Imperial Edict to fight the Oasis Respite, for example. Plenty of cards, basically. Put there anything you like and make it the deck your own, and that's it.
All right. Awesome, man. Well, that's it. That's every card. I've managed to survive the ether of your brain and this deck. Crikey. This has got to be one of the most interesting, fun, complex heroes that I've managed to do a deck tech with, and you've really helped me understand more about
Awesome.
Kano. And
Yeah, it is hard. At the beginning, I said it's not that hard, but then I realized I put a lot of time into learning it, so it may be not that hard now. But my friends tell I'm too. Forgot the word. Never mind.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
it,
it's hard. It's
it
hard.
it's all with the reading the card and seeing what it does is the easy bit. The potential of what you can weave these cards into in combination of each other, all in the pitch stack at different timing moments within the pitch stack, is the you know the mind bending stuff. It's when you feel like the guy from Sonata, where all this stuff is just flowing around you. You're like, what could you do? Most of the time, the line is there. I think that's the Kano thing, isn't it? The line is there. You just got to find the line, find the combo line, find the damage line. It's there. You just got to find it and put it in the
That's
right
one
order.
thing. That's one thing, and the other thing I like to say that it's not like I'm winning with Kano. It's that other people lose to Kano.
Yes. You just lose. Yeah, I love that. I don't win. You lose to Kano.
Yeah, they don't respect the deck, honestly.
No, and that's 2 big tournaments now. Dude, thank you so much. Is there any closing statements you want to give? It doesn't have to be about Kano or anything. Is there any shout outs you want to give to friends or whatever, man? This is your little bit.
Yeah, I would like to send my warm feelings to the Poznan crew because without them, I wouldn't be playing this game to this extent, travel and play in those tournaments. I always like the card games, but those guys, they are the best. Thank you.
Awesome, man. Awesome. And I'll say thank you so much for taking the time to come and speak to this pokey little channel from the UK and talking about your amazing win with Kano. It really means a lot. So thank you so much, dude.
Thank you too. It was awesome.
Yeah. Right.
Thanks a ton.
Cheers, everyone. Bye bye.